Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Prep Talk podcast, hosted by Not Really Mad, fulfilled by Max and Pete's Flips. Today, we are here talking about Amazon United and ASD. A few of us went, and we're going to recap it for you with some lessons learned, what we felt were the big takeaways, that sort of thing. So, why don't we just go around and kind of share like which events we went to for context? Not Really Mad, Max. Which ones did you go to?
I just went to Amazon United because I had a panic attack and I canceled my flight to ASD. So
the truth comes out. Let's just get into that right now. So my boy orders an absolute shitload of product, has a panic attack, and then 2 weeks later is ordering more of it.
I mean, I don't know. I ordered a lot, and then it was like the biggest single. It was like the deepest I've ever gone on a single ASIN, and it was a little late. I'll admit. I mean, it ended all right, but like I saw you guys. So I like missed out on this giant wave. Like what are the first like 5 days of the month you guys did like 5 to like 10K days? It was just ridiculous. And I was sitting here doing like 2,500, $3,000, which is good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not 7, 8, 9. I'm hitting the group chat, Jonathan. Bro, I just sold like 200 units in one day. I'm like sitting here. Like, so anyway, I hopped on the thing. I hopped on the train late, and I listed them FBM, and they just weren't moving. And I was like, bro. So it ended up working out fine. But I had a panic attack. I was spamming Peter and Max. I was texting them, calling them. They like stopped responding after like 5 hours. They're like, all right, this dude just used to simmer, bro. I was like,
bro, Max, you had me tweaking, dude. You had me tweaking out because, like, I remember afterwards, after you called me and Peter the first time, I was like, "Oh my god, we're all so screwed. Bro. Like, we're all going broke." Like,
I had to pull out all the tricks on you two. I had to have my mother-in-law call you a bitch.
Yeah, once that happened, I booked my flight and hotel that day. Like, nah, you could. I was like, no way, Pete's mother-in-law is calling me a bitch.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have canceled.
You shouldn't have canceled. That was a mistake. All right, Kat, which ones did you go to?
I went to ASD and I went to Amazon United because I overcame my panic attack.
Yeah, you're about the culture. You're about the culture. I went to both as well. They were both awesome. Why don't we just break down ASD? So ASD is more of a trade show, not really Amazon focused, but tons of Amazon folks go there. They try and create wholesale relationships, that sort of thing. And Matt and Kat and I, we walked the floor on like the pre-day, and then we also did the next couple of days. What did you feel were like takeaways from that experience?
One, if you are going to ASD, don't write that you are an Amazon seller on your name tag. Write that you are a retailer.
Soft open.
Yeah, just because once people see Amazon seller, like once a wholesaler sees, oh, Amazon sellers, like, dude, they literally have signs outside of their tents, or not tents, their booths that say, "We do not serve Amazon sellers." So like you're literally just going to be cutting out like half the market there. Yeah. Other than that, like you kind of got to go into it knowing what you want to look for. I know you and I went there more so for a learning experience, just because wholesale is probably a big reality next year, like early next year after Q4. But yeah, I mean, go in there, know what vendors are going to be there, know which ones you want to go up to and talk to, and pretty much like come prepared and like know your stuff, because if you don't, you're gonna get kind of like exposed a little bit.
Well, and I think like having your pitch rehearsed ahead of time was a big takeaway. So like I'm an e-commerce store out of the Midwest. Like, so it's a warm open. You sound like you know what you're talking about. We got to remember that like the barrier to entry on Amazon is so low that like a lot of like new sellers will just hop in there, not knowing anything about the Amazon platform, and try and pitch value to somebody that like isn't, they have no value to offer. They don't know how the platform works. And so how can you start a relationship that way? It's like anything else. You need to give actual value, say that their listings are bad, saying that you can, buy a bunch of product, whatever the case may be, before you go and you like try and seal a deal. I saw some people doing that, and I was like, maybe we should start in OA, learn the platform, then get into wholesale. It's an easier launching pad than going straight into dropping like a 10K PO. right off the bat. And then business cards were important too.
Sorry, go ahead, Max.
No, I was just gonna say, I think that like there's a big difference between a hustler and a businessman. And I think, a lot of people start off OA, retail arbitrage, as kind of hustlers and just flipping things. And then you get to wholesale, like the wholesale distributors, like they don't want to deal with someone who's unprofessional, not going to text them back, not going to place a lot of orders, not going to spend a lot, terrible communication. Like, and I think that's kind of like the hustler. People may not really care about their reputation. Like, I just get to as many, get to a bag as quickly as possible, whatever I got to do to get some money, versus like a businessman is like, all right, has like SOPs in place, is really doing this, writing a check, doing whatever, professional, cares about their business, professional relationships. And so I just think probably a lot of distributors are sick and tired of dealing with people like just trying to make a quick flip when they want actual relationships, if they're going to spend their time bringing you into the system and all that. So
well, and that's where you saw like the big dogs in the space, like Corey and Sawyer. They had a list of products they wanted to find. So when they saw a price point, they knew if it was going to work before they had the conversation. So like, okay, this item is $5. I know that'll work. Write the check. Like it's done, rather than, oh, let me go check Seller Amp real quick and see what I need to hit off this random unit. And so that like, it also gives you this, it gives you a mission. If you're just wandering around these trade shows, it's not going to be a productive use of time. So if I have 10 products that I want to find, then I can measure against how I'm doing. I can locate the ones that I want to go after, because there's a lot of fluff. Like, I mean, Danny was looking at all the swords and stuff. Like there's a lot of fluff at those shows. Those shows.
Yo, ththose swords were a good price, though. I'm not gonna lie.
No ship. I mean, you would have really struggled with TSA getting those back, but the guy was not willing to play ball with Danny.
No. Danny goes, how much? Oh yeah, how much are these swords? The guy goes, oh nah. You ship these? Nah, you can just get them home yourself. Like, dude, he was such a like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was not playing ball, but. Kind of transitions into like a good like secondary, like the networking at ASD, or not even networking. I don't like that word. I don't know why I used it, but the relationships, like Kat, like how did you like? What were the highlights? Like what did you feel like you took away?
Definitely one of the biggest highlights was waking up with Steven's face, like right in my face on night 2, and then actually morning 2, and then actually morning 1. I woke up to Peter in my face going, who's going to carry the boats? Like, he creeps up on me. Who's going to carry the boat? Imagine waking up to that just in your mid. Who's going to carry the boats? So those were 2 of my highlights. But other than that, I think definitely building relationships with people that we could, more experienced sellers than us, because we came from, 0 to, we literally went 0 to 100 in for three months. So having somebody with a little more experience give us more insight, it was a huge learning opportunity for us in general, as people might have went to wholesale now, but we started in OA, they started in OA, and now we're going to be able to learn from them and see the steps that they took to get to from OA to wholesale and avoid the mistakes that they made, because we got to communicate and build relationships with them. And even now, like, we're on Zooms with Nick, we're on Zooms with Steven, we're on Zooms with Sawyer, we're on Zooms with Keith last night. Like, all that stuff is really starting to come to fruition as we built those relationships. We built that network that's going to help us and benefit us.
Well, and I think that it gets into a good point about like the people that were building those relationships, and you're not networking, you're building a relationship for the long run. You're just existing, you're offering value. Maybe it's helping someone maintain momentum when you throw a box pick or whatever it is. You then go to these shows and you cement the relationship, because then it's real. Like when I first saw Max in New Jersey, it was kind of like, it was a weird moment, because it was like, we've been talking to each other for like 3, 4, 5 months, and then now it's in real life. So it was kind of, it added depth to the relationship rather than just showing up on like Twitter and text messages. But it took a long time for this group to build to the point where like that could happen, and like you just hit the ground running.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I really, sometimes I get down, like, I know we were talking before, and I think, like, last month I did, just under 85K, and Peter was like, oh yeah, I know, I love how you talk about a junior at 85K, like bad month. You know, compared to like these guys are falling over here 100 plus. I was, you know, whatever it is, what it is. But and it made me realize like, wow, like I'm actually starting to train one of my boys, and just thinking about getting from day 0 to where I'm at now. I'm like, dude, it was a lot of work to get here. Like, don't get me wrong, like it was totally worth it. But man, there were some times where it definitely tested me, and that kind of keeping that in the frame, you know, makes it a little easier to realize like, all right, like I've already come this far, like I can get to where I want to go.
Yeah.
I would honestly say getting from here to $250,000 a month is going to be easier than 0 to 50K a month. But and honestly, I might actually stand on that.
Yeah, no, I think it is because like, well, especially when you consider the relationships that were built at the shows, you then, you know, you trade things that you know. I mean, it's not like a trade, but then they share things that they know, and it just compounds, and then you just have all of this great information that like allows you to avoid mistakes. Because I mean, I've been avoiding a lot of mistakes that I may have made previously.
Yeah, I think also I might not agree with Max on the 250 statement just because Amex did clip my limits this month. Dude.
Yeah, Eduardo's gonna have to start playing ball with
bro. I mean, long story short, just to fill the people in, as a lot of you guys know, I am in a 9-to-5. I'm getting my MBA and I'm building up my Amazon store, but I paid my MBA tuition and on my personal credit card. I had the money in my bank account. I should have just paid it cash. And then I paid off my credit card right away, but it was close to my reconciliation date for my personal credit card. And it caused my personal credit to shoot up, my personal credit usage to shoot up, and my credit score to shoot down. So my Amex limit actually got cut into a third from where it was. So my limit went from like 62K to like 21K. So now I have to build that back up. Yeah. And then once I do that, though,
you probably just have to wait a month.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the reality of it.
8 days. 8 days until my next credit card reconciliation, and Amex is
they're gonna show some love.
Yeah, they're gonna play ball with me.
But like, you know, and that's stuff that I think a lot of people have to deal with. That's a huge constraint for a lot of people. That you know, if you didn't have a group of people just saying, "Hey, keep your sanity, it'll be fine." It's a short period of time. Like, it's more difficult. You might quit. You could quit.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like Pete, you know, I was beating myself up over it like all weekend.
Yeah,
just going back and forth, like trying to do something about it, but there's nothing really you can do until your credit score goes up and they report your credit to the credit bureaus and everything. So I mean, biggest piece of advice I've probably heard this week was like, don't stress yourself out over things you can't control. Stress yourself out over the things you can control and get them done. But
so you can build in other areas. You can be focusing on your MBA right now. You can be focusing on your 9-to-5, do a quick sprint in that, and then circle back. You know, one stretch of like 2 to 3 weeks is not going to sink you if you just, you know, kind of stay persistent.
Yeah, I think the credit thing's huge for sure. I'm kind of in the same boat, honestly. So I'm transitioning out of personal credit. I should have done it from the beginning, but honestly, I was a clown. So I have 2 meetings I have a meeting with Chase this week and a meeting with Bank of America this week too. So hopefully we'll be able to work some stuff out because I have a little sneaky link with BOA Elena. So we'll see.
Wait, like on God?
Oh, on God, yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, bro. I was about to go crazy. I was about to be shook.
That's what you have to do, bro. You have to either somehow filter your Hinge profile to distributors if they have that in there. Some distribution.
Delete your app first before you do it.
Bank of America, something like I'm just going for like bank loan officers. That's it. Trying to reverse engineer them. That's what you should do. If you're really listening. If you're listening and you're a psychopath and you really want to get this down, you got to go on LinkedIn and then find all the loan officers in your area and then find their Instagrams and then follow them and then cold DM all of them and start going on dates with them and start finding one a date that you can slip into the banking system from behind.
So this leads in nicely to like the Amazon United, because that was part of the events there. What do we feel about that? Like, how did the two compare? Which ones Kat? Which ones did you prefer? Between ASD and Amazon United.
That's a tough call, just because I think I was more hyped to go to Amazon United, and the reason being are like the whole squad from the OG group chat was pulling up, like me, you, Dre, Max, Mason, minus John, Miles, and then Steven and I sharing a bed as always. But that one was definitely more exciting. I kind of knew what to expect from ASD just because like it's a really popular event, but this was the first time that we've done Amazon United, so it was geared towards Amazon sellers. It was geared towards that building relationships or kind of concept. And, I met a lot of people there as well, and you know that every single person you talk to is going to be an Amazon seller. I think next year though, it's when February when we go back to ASD, it'll definitely be ASD because I'll be looking for accounts. So that's kind of the main attributing factor.
I gotta decide if I want to go to Vegas. Vegas is not the vibe for me.
Oh, no.
I don't enjoy Vegas. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, I felt like United had so much more value because it was geared towards Amazon sellers. I also think that like, and I say this occasionally, but like the paywall of like you have to buy a ticket, like you're gonna meet a lot of people that are super committed. Like they're not gonna let a $200 ticket stand in their way of learning and growing, and like there's value in that. So yeah, I mean, I met a lot of really nice people. I'm trying to think like what were the highlights of the show. I mean, Corey's presentation was really good about VAs. That was like a lot of value add for sure. And then just meeting everybody.
It was so good that Steven went out and got a VA to swipe for him on Hinge.
Dude, there's like people on Instagram right now that are pitching that service. And I'm saying that's like Steven has created a business model for his VA.
Yeah, dude, that VA is going to go to he's going to be the richest. He or she is going to be the richest VA in all of wherever they live.
Is he actually having his like doing cold outreach on Hinge?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I talked to him the other day. He I think he's pretty serious about having his VA swipe on Hinge.
I don't think Steven says stuff and like doesn't do it.
Yeah, dude.
Really like he just does everything.
The one thing I learned is like you might think Steven's joking, but Steven doesn't think Steven's joking.
Yeah, one thing I was thinking, we were planning to do like an in-person pod, but like one thing I did learn going to all these shows is like the gerbil, or was a pig, is for the YouTube or for the podcast listeners, there's a YouTube visual that's interesting. It's like how valuable the time is. Like you either need to like really move with speed to accomplish like a recording or something, or it's just going to be a waste of time because there's so many people there. It's more worth like meeting everybody. Like the amount of game that was exchanged that like lifted limiting beliefs for me like at both was crazy. Like sites I never would have ordered from. I was called stupid for not, that sort of thing.
Have you guys ever sorry, this was just on the top of my head. Okay. Have you guys ever had like the idea in your mind, like you're in a competition with somebody with Amazon, but like you're not actually competing with anybody, like you're almost like competing against yourself?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like you look at like how like the best sellers go about it, or like maybe not the best, but like some of the most well-known that are like selling the most, they're not afraid to like exchange game with people that they trust. And like you're not really you are competing with them, but there's so much to eat that it doesn't really matter.
I know what you're talking about, because when I watched the Jordan documentary, I tweeted about this the other day. When I watched the Jordan documentary, bro, I'm not comparing myself to Michael Jordan, but I used to do this.
No, you are.
Nah.
You're Michael Jordan.
I'm not even a sports fan, but that's the guy. But he was saying about how he like, he was on the court and he was feeling tired or whatever, and like, I'm gonna misquote this, whatever. But he looked over to like some dude on the other team, and he just like, he's like, "What'd you say to me?" And like the guy didn't even say anything, and like he's like in his head, he was like made up that he was like talking smack about him, and like that gave him fuel to like go up and go. And so like I'm all for creating enemies, honestly. Dave Portnoy, another love the guy, great dude. he has a thing where like he has like his champagne bottles of like all of his enemies. So when like they mess up some way somewhere down the line, he like pops the bottle when they like
I should do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm all about creating like enemies and like using energy like that. It's not the most positive way, but to like motivate you and stuff. And I think we're all competitive. You have to be competitive to do something at the level we're doing it at.
Yeah.
The way I look between us is like a friendly competition. It's like we're all up together, but at the same time, it's like, if these guys are doing like 130 and I'm only doing 85, I'm like, dude, I got to step it up. Like, I don't want to be left behind.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to be doing is being the last person in the group,
Yeah.
So it keeps you on your toes a little bit.
Well, and like, there's a difference between like being like in all directions. Like, we'll give each other like constructive criticism. Like, that's super valuable. Like, when someone's messing up, we'll tell them to give them a chance to like figure it out. But then like, it's really important to like protect your energy and just like completely ignore anybody that's like negative to you. Like, it's just, you have to create a bubble because their opinions just don't fucking matter. Like, they're probably insecure. They have limiting beliefs, whatever. They think they're better than you, whatever it is. And I don't give a shit.
I feel like in the grand scheme of things, like I'm my own biggest enemy. Like if I'm not outperforming myself every single day, if I'm not better this month than I was last month, I feel like I've lost. Like I lost a battle. And I feel like that's a common thing that people who scale up real big, real fast, like we did. I feel like you're always trying to compete to keep the upward trend.
Yeah.
So when and it's not always gonna, like, you're gonna have a bigger month in August, you're gonna have a bigger month in December. Those are guarantees.
Yeah.
But like coming to that realization, this past week was like, dude, like I'm the only reason I brought this up is just because like, actually my girlfriend Kenna, she was like, dude, like you're competing against yourself. Like nobody's competing against you. You are competing against yourself. Like you're your own worst enemy because like you're trying to outperform yourself. You're trying to like duke it out with yourself. And like now you're every single day, you're just like doing more than you should. You're not taking a break. You're not taking a breath. So like, that's kind of why I was asking you guys. Plus I felt like it was going to be pretty decent content.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people struggle with it. Like I did 130 last month. There's no way I'm going to do that this month.
Yeah. And
that's okay because you can refine things and you can set yourself up to go crazy in a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
And as you build more capital, it'll be easier to stay consistent. But especially FBM, like you're pouring a lot of time and effort into fulfilling rather than sourcing and finding new opportunities. But when there's an opportunity that's like good ROI, you can easily replenish it. You just got to squeeze. Like it's a better use of your time squeezing the hell out of it than going to look for something new.
Blessing and a curse. And like I think for me personally, like I've always struggled this where like allowing myself to feel like I've accomplished something because it treads right on the line between complacency, and I have a hard time distinguishing the two a lot of times. So like I also don't want to say, all right, I did 130 last month, right? I'm only going to do 85 this month or 50. I'm going to feel like a piece of shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like this is terrible, whatever. And so part of me is like, I want to wallow in that pain because I want to use that pain as motivation. And then the other part of me is like, all right, well, this is kind of toxic. I don't really need to feel pain about this. I can just realize that it is what it is, accept the things I can't change and know the difference between the two. So it's this fine line between being motivated and allowing yourself to be like, all right, this is what it is. Let's just look forward, because you can just sit in that pain and wallow. And it's real easy on Amazon too. It's just tangible numbers, it's just, did you do more or less? It's one number off, like one digit. So you can either feel great about yourself or feel terrible about yourself. And it's an odd thing. I don't know if that made any sense.
No, it does. I mean, like the next step is just smoothing it out so that it's like you have a baseline that you're hitting consistently because you've created systems to allow you to do that. And then taking complete advantage of like the crazy months, like, December and
Yeah,
in
I
August.
think I think. I mean, we'll see too. Like the one thing too is like when you were talking about the ASD trade show and you were like, oh, next year I'm gonna have this plan out. Like one thing I did mess up on is not being able to go to that. Is I don't really know what to expect. So this year with December, not really quite sure what to expect, but I do know that December of 2024,
Oh yeah,
easily gonna crack 500,000. Like there's no doubt.
we just stay
Yeah,
consistent.
I mean, if you don't do over $1 million, though, you're crazy.
Next
Over
year,
$1 million.
Next December, if you don't do $1 million in a month in December next year, you're crazy.
I would probably pump the brakes on that. Sawyer
yeah,
was
I mean, I don't want
middle, so
limiting belief, but I mean,
it's his
Sawyer,
goal. But that's
Sawyer wants to do like
our boy's been doing it for a while.
Billy out of definitely 500.
No,
Yeah.
$1 million.
That's. I mean, let's go for it. Why not? Shoot for
Yeah,
the moon.
who cares? Yeah, it's a
$1
good
million,
goal.
$1 million a month, bro. Just eat, sleep, breathe. Amazon. Imagine walking out of December with 150 grand in your pocket.
Kat, you're gonna die of a heart attack at 35. But yeah, I mean that would be
You
dope.
probably have to pay You would have to pay employees, and then like it wouldn't be 150.
All right, maybe even 100,000. Let's say you pay 50K for employees. Seasonal college kid employees, $14 an hour.
Not over here, bro. I gotta be paying at least 20, 25.
Yeah, you're crazy. Just leave.
Spoiled in Massachusetts.
Just leave Massachusetts, bro. That's the solution. Just move.
Spoiled though.
Just move to PA.
Yeah.
If you make less than $20 an hour here as just like a peon worker, like you're a peon. Like you're a peon of a peon. Like you can't be doing less than 20 an hour here. Like it's just
Wisconsin is still $7.25 minimum.
That's insane.
I mean, nobody pays that because like you literally can't live off that. So nobody would show up to work,
but there's people that pay like probably 11, 12.
Probably. Yeah.
Which is nuts. I don't even know what the minimum is in Massachusetts, but I can't find a job for less than like 18 to 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is crazy. Crazy. Yeah. I don't know. Overall, what would you say? Would you guys like more ASD? Just to wrap up this kind of combo, what would you like up? What did you like more, ASD or United?
United
was better just because it was like located around a lot of sellers, but you learned a lot from some of like the Cali sellers. Like, I get a lot of DMs from people in California, and like the deck is a little stacked against you with just the cost of everything out there. But you can make it work. I promise you that. You just get into a prep center early. But yeah, no, I think Amazon United was the better event. It was just there was a focus on Amazon. What are we gonna do for Miami Seller Conference? Go to Miami. We're gonna go to Miami. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I've never really like gone on vacation before, so I'm just trying to get like a nice, really nice house. Like I'm down to shell out an extra couple $100 a piece if we like stay at like a dope house, like
Airbnb. Yeah, get a bunch of. I was talking to Deke and Sawyer about it.
Like
we should out like a crib.
That would be sick to have like 10 of us. A mansion. We could set up blow up mattresses if there's not enough bedrooms.
No. We don't do that. We don't have blow up mattresses. We'll order one less bedroom than what we have, and me and Steven will share, just like always.
Yeah. That's for the culture. You and Steven will share a bed. Yep, you love to see it.
Every Amazon event, I will it's got to be a tradition now.
Well, Steven was hilarious because he just the man shows up at 2:00 in the morning in Vegas and is just knocking on the door. I was 75% asleep, and I knew he just rolled in there like a bat out of hell. And I was like, oh, Christ.
Dude, kid didn't sleep. He slept for an hour. And then at 3 a.m, he was up brushing his teeth. He has the loudest toothbrush I've ever heard in my life. That thing sounded like an actual razor.
I thought I was he comes in, he's got no facial hair. And I thought he was shaving his face.
Dude.
The dentist has to love him.
I literally, I slept in the same bed as the kid. And I barely saw him the whole trip. He was just out and about doing random stuff.
Which bed did you sleep in? You haven't mentioned it. We've only mentioned it once. Which one? Where did you sleep?
I slept with Steven in a bed, bro.
How is it? Is it warm underneath his balls, or are you?
Nah, bro. I was Big Spoon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just for a friend.
Honestly, the best thing that I got out of United was the breathe rights, bro.
From y'all will get as as we get to know each other more, you will start to understand that eventually you all start living just like I live because I have figured this thing out.
It's crazy. Yeah, you've gone down all the rabbit holes and you understand
Bro,
everything.
Bro, you'll go down, you'll start taping at night because you know
I
your
ordered
your mouth breather and like mouth breathing is terrible. You'll start wearing the nose strips. You'll get off of chemical shampoo.
I gotta order that. Yeah.
You'll get off of Cedo. That's the other thing. I know. I love people like, oh, I eat so clean, this and that. But yeah, but like, bro, you literally let chemicals soak into your scalp twice a day. That's like the most important part too. Like, think about it.
Shower twice a day.
Yeah.
You're a morning and a night guy.
If I go to the gym, actually, usually, once or twice.
Okay.
Depends what's going on. If I could, bro, I'd be like 3 or 4 times a day. Like when I have my own like setup and like I'm really, really wealthy, it'll be like probably 3 or 4 times a day.
You like showers that much?
Bro, I was watching the day in life of Mark Cuban and he showers like 4 times a day. Bro.
Really?
Yeah. He was like, wake up, shower, eat, do a quick workout, shower, go home, work on the computer, play basketball, shower, come home, eat, shower, go to bed. Like it was like, I swear to God, it was like 3 or 4 times a day. Like I was like, that's my dude, bro.
That's wild. That's wild.
I guess you can't be a billionaire and stink. Like that's not.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, the bar's higher. That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's like a point of meditation and just a way to like step away from everything for like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know,
that makes sense.
Change. You know, when you come out of the shower, you just feel like you're stepping into a new, like
it's like a reset.
I feel like Peter in the ice bath and like the sauna and stuff. Like
we didn't even tell that story about the ice bath. How you were like really, really being a
it was cold.
It was like cold. 55.
I don't know what you're talking about. That shit was cold.
No, it was not cold. It was icy. It was lukewarm.
How much ice was left in the ice machine on that floor?
None. But you could have boiled. You could have boiled an egg in that thing.
None.
You could have boiled an egg.
How cold is ice? 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Dude, the all in PA are soft.
But I think the water was probably like 60.
Yeah, at least 60. 55 to 60 for sure.
That's bugging. That's crazy. At least like at most 45.
No way.
At most.
How long was it sitting in there for?
A while. That was warm water going into it. That was Vegas water.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to get a cold plunge in my house. And you have this set up, dude. You got.
Oh yeah, you got to have it. It's just, I mean,
that's necessary.
It's a requirement. Because whenever I'm really stressed out, bam, done. You can call me Superman or whatever. But
how often do you cold plunge?
Not as much as I'd like. Sauna, I like more. Like sauna, like I enjoy more. Yeah, I don't know. Probably like 4 or 5 times a week.
Oh,
I'm gripping a sauna this winter.
Bro, Costco. $3,000.
Did you get a gym membership? What?
No, I'm just gonna grip the sauna.
Bro, install it.
Yeah.
That would have been sick if we had been able to get on top of one of those buildings in New York.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that would have been awesome. Yeah, my brother works in Times Square. I always get it wrong. It's not JP Morgan Chase. It is
Morgan Stanley.
Morgan Stanley.
Yeah.
See, there's 2 Morgans. I always get them mixed up. He works at Morgan Stanley right in Times Square. So like he was talking about like, oh, maybe we could get up on the roof and like take pictures up top on like one of the buildings in Times Square. But that wouldn't have really been fun for me because I'm terrified of heights. So I probably would have
terrified of heights, terrified of cold water.
Like, y'all got the pictures. Like I'm gonna be back here just chilling.
Terrified of gluten.
Have I shown you the picture of me hanging off the side of the building?
No, you're crazy. I wouldn't even see it, bro.
You're not.
You got that much anxiety and you hang off buildings?
You know, I used to do that, right? You know, I used to have the photography blog, and I used to climb all the buildings in Boston, right?
How did you climb the buildings? Like you would just walk up the stairs, or like what the hell?
Fire escape, bro.
What?
Fire escape. Oh, you can't see.
You gotta get rid of the pig photo.
Where are you? You're just sitting.
No. Who's taking the photo?
Dude,
suicide.
I have a bunch of these from me hanging off. So I was crazy as a kid, dude.
How old were you?
14, I think. Freshman year, sophomore year. 14,
all right, 15. So we now know that you have to be a little bit insane to sell.
I was a super adrenaline junkie. I kind of still am a little bit, but I've toned it down. Like, but I was like,
me too. I go like skiing.
Like to feel something. Like I'd be like, I gotta hang off this building and feel something.
I used to just like stick my ass out the window on the highway and moon people until I got pulled over by the cops, and like they thought it was funny, but like they were like, no, don't do that no more.
Whatever gets you that rush, you know.
Yeah.
I've noticed it's a lot of little sus. You, Stevens, a couple times you mentioned that. It seems you get excited when you talk about that. So I don't know. Just point it out.
Steve's gonna appreciate this episode. His name's been dragged through the mud.
Yeah, let's just get Steven on the pod, bro. I mean, we might as well. Dude's in like Portugal. What else is he doing?
Totally unscripted.
Stevie Mules. Yeah, we should get him on.
Stevie, bro, I just
Ooh,
like
from
I
Europe?
love hearing him talk.
From Europe?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
in Portugal right now.
That'd be cool. I don't want to stay up, but
Nah,
gotta be 8
All
hours.
right, he doesn't sleep anyways.
That's a good point. We'll talk.
It's like midnight probably right now, right?
That kid exchanges some game.
Dude,
He'll go on rants.
yeah, bro, he's gonna roast Max though.
Stevie Mules, buddy.
He's gonna call you credit card boy.
Bro, it's because he like can't stop saying it's like credit cards.
Steven and Max are worst enemies. I feel like they're gonna be worst enemies, but like friends at the same time.
I'm trying to, dude.
Dude, the first Zoom we ever had with Steven, him and Max just started going at it.
We gotta throw you two in the octagon.
I was just sitting
Bro.
there as like they just yelled at each other about credit cards.
Nah, not even, bro. We were just debating, but nah, I don't know, bro. I want to go out. I want to go out like drinking with him, bro. He's got to be the funniest dude when he gets a few in, bro. Like you already know,
Like it just escalates. He just gets real excited.
You already know he's got to be stumbling around after like 2 or 3. Just
No, he's put together.
Nah, he definitely, dude. He earned his name. He earned the name Stevie Mules. Like,
bro, he's got to be fun. He's got to be a fun time though.
He's a good.
Probably tearing up in Europe right now.
Oh yeah, he's probably surfing, having a great time.
Yeah, that's fire.
Because he's got 17 VAs and he's just got. Thank you.
All right. Anything else you guys kind of want to get into before we kind of wrap this up, or I feel like we?
Nope. I think that's good. But what are the takeaways? Just absolutely be meeting people before you go to the shows, so then you can take full advantage of. That's a huge point. One last thing: if you meet a lot of people, but prior to the shows, you'll get warm intros. So then, like, your homie will introduce you to his homies, and then it's not forced. So that was
be homie hopping.
Kind of weird to get like noticed though. Like people recognize me, and I'm like, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, buddy, just homie hop.
Get used to it, bro. You gotta start. You're famous and wealthy now, so.
I'm famous and wealthy.
I have a Twitter account, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
And summer wealth. What's it?
You have a Twitter account called Famous and Wealthy?
Yeah.
That'd be a great thing to have. If you had that handle.
Yeah, if you were famous and wealthy.
Yeah. All right. Let's wrap up. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening to the Prep Talk Podcast, episode 4. But yeah, we'll catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate that. Follow us on all the podcast places, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, that sort of thing. But we'll catch you next time.